I want to thank all of the other candidates in this election.
Naheed Nenshi. He took Calgary City Hall in a closely contested mayoral race in 2010 against longtime councillor Rick McIver and television personality Barb Higgins. 15 years later, he would be elected leader of Alberta's New Democrats. Before we get into his latest political ambition of becoming the Premier of Alberta, let's take a quick look at his career as mayor. Nenshi used social media and a well-organised ground campaign to beat out his opponents. After becoming mayor, Calgary's property taxes rose consistently year after year on his watch, above and beyond the normal rate of inflation. Nenshi has voted yes on practically every single tax increase. Only on the rare occasion, which always seemed to coincide with an election, did Nenshi ever criticise tax increases or vote against them. Since the start of his political career, Nenshi has had an arrogant, one-sided and astonishingly hypocritical leadership style. From charging donors $5,000 for exclusive access and the right to be graced with his godlike presence, to irresponsibly defaming a private citizen and then expecting everyone else to pay his legal bills, Naheed Nenshi is a real class act. Nenshi's childish temper tantrums, his lack of self-control, and his inability to take criticism or show any respect has always made him a lot like another politician who media doesn't let off the hook as easily. Nenshi once even accused Michelle Rempel of being bad at math, something the late Jim Prentice did to Rachel Notley, but failed to live down. The truth is, Naheed Nenshi is not a well-rounded, smart or thick-skinned warrior. He's an embarrassment. In November of 2013, just after Nenshi sailed to victory under a 37% voter turnout, the thin-skinned hypocrite was sued by a prominent Calgary home builder for defamation. The case was settled out of court 2 years later, with Nenshi retracting and apologising, as well as acknowledging that the home builder he accused of breaking election laws did not actually break any election laws. Throughout his career as mayor, Calgarians have sometimes seemed willfully blind to Nenshi's outrageous hypocrisy. For instance, dating back to the Occupy Wall Street protests, Nenshi allowed protesters to illegally squat all around Calgary and then defended the $100,000 price tag for cleaning up after them. The problem with all of this is that Nenshi refused to give a Christian street group the same respect. So to sum it up, for Nenshi and city officials, trashing Olympic Park is totally fine. Praying at a city hall? Not so fine. We also can't forget about the time Nenshi called in a psychologist to deal with the dysfunction inside of City Hall. Remember that? Even then, Nenshi blamed the tensions in City Council on everyone else, not himself or his own disrespect for his colleagues, because, Nenshi has never said or done anything that could be viewed as disrespectful to anyone.
So, Uber, there's no polite way of saying this, have a brilliant business model and are dicks.
Now we're getting somewhere. Team Ubers are dicks.
And are dicks.
If you're not fully convinced of Nenshi's shameless hypocrisy, how about the time he endorsed kicking low-income residents out of a trailer park, citing too much maintenance costs, while the city bailed out a struggling public golf course that needed a reported $7 million worth of repairs and maintenance? Or how about the time Nenshi complained about an old hotel being turned into an affordable housing complex or drop-in centre? That's the same Naheed Nenshi who now thinks he can lead the Socialist New Democrats of Alberta. Nenshi won the Alberta NDP leadership with 86% of the vote on the first ballot, a landslide that followed his late entry into the race. Some questioned the sudden surge in Calgary area NDP memberships and the ethical nature of his campaign. Critics within the NDP, including rival Sarah Hoffman and union boss Gil McGowan, accused Nenshi of orchestrating a takeover during debates, with Hoffman emphasising the need to elect a true New Democrat and criticising his proposal to sever ties with the federal NDP as dangerous. McGowan described Nenshi as embodying a negative stereotype of New Democrats: sanctimonious, over-educated, urban people who look down their noses at working people and people in rural Alberta. Yup, that sounds exactly like Naheed Nenshi. In fact, he makes the perfect NDP leader if you consider those valuable attributes of a socialist. However, how about this? Recently, a 2019 letter from Nenshi as mayor resurfaced, in which he requested provincial permission to retroactively cancel union contracts and cut staff pay, leading rivals to label him anti-union and question his alignment with NDP values. At one point during his career as mayor, Nenshi even supported the construction of more pipelines, something Rachel Notley campaigned against. It's almost like Nenshi lies about everything just to get elected. In 2025, he was accused by political operative Peter McCaffrey of lying in claims against Premier Danielle Smith regarding her US political connections. Remember, in 2013, that Calgary home builder filed a $6 million suit alleging Nenshi defamed him by comparing him to a godfather figure, just to score political points during an election. In many ways, Naheed Nenshi is the perfect NDP leader. He lies, he deceives, he panders, and he inflames divisions across various classes and groups for his own political gain. He has been doing this for years. In the coming months, Albertans will be faced with a serious choice. Will they stay the historical course of low taxes, minimal regulations, and common-sense protections for women and children? Or will they choose Nenshi's old brand of sleazy leadership? Will they elect a lying snake who can barely keep his eyes open while he lies? Or will they stick with what has worked for decades? We'll find out in 2027. Until then, who knows how many more sleazy deceptions Naheed Nenshi has up his sleeve?